What is the future of Star Wars Legion actually going to be like? That is a question that I'm just going to ramble on for a few minutes, and if you would like to indulge in that, then please stick around. Essentially, I've been thinking about this ever since they said they were going to announce some new Star Wars games. I've been very confused and very intrigued in the future of Star Wars Legion, as well as X-Wing and Armada and all that kind of stuff, but really I only concentrate on the Legion. But let's forget about any other game for now, and let's just look at the Star Wars Legion models as themselves. What we're likely going to get is everything that we don't already have that's in media. That's a pretty obvious statement, isn't it? But the good thing about Star Wars at the minute, in a way, is that there is a lot of media. You know, we're up to Mandalorian Season 3, Cassian Andor's getting his own series. There's all kinds of stuff that are being worked on in the Star Wars universe. We had the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I'm personally nowhere near up to date. They've just released it at a pace that I literally cannot keep up with. But there's a lot of media out there for them to use as inspiration. That sounds like weird, but obviously they're going to make stuff from canon because that makes sense. And there's still stuff missing from Clone Wars and Rebels, I believe, like Thrawn. Like, we're still not seeing Thrawn, for example, even if he makes sense in the game or not. I think a lot of people just like to see him. So I used to think that Star Wars Legion was going to run into the trouble of, hey, we're going to make everything, and then I'm not really sure what we're going to make after that. Like, once we've made Vader and Luke and stuff like that, where do you go from? But it turns out that a lot of people are just enjoying the sort of like secondary characters, the auxiliary characters, if you will, which, to be fair, that's great for like hardcore Star Wars fans. I think you guys are like, yeah, I'll take Thrawn, etc. But if I asked my wife Katie, who is Thrawn, she's not watched the Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that, she'll have literally no idea. But she's familiar with Vader and Luke and Leia and all that kind of stuff, right? And I think she sort of represents the average person rather than, say, like the average Star Wars fan. But is Star Wars Legion tailored just to Star Wars fans, or are they tailored to the average tabletop player? But then again, there's probably a big like Venn diagram there where the average tabletop player probably knows more about Star Wars than the average person, because let's face it, we like nerdy stuff. So the point is, we've sort of exhausted all of the things that normal people, and I don't mean that as an insult, I actually mean that probably as a good thing, that normal people are aware of, your average person is aware of. To be fair, we exhausted that probably quite a while ago. So now we're working on stuff that Star Wars fans know, and the media is sort of bringing more people into that fandom, I think. More modern people, that's a weird way to say. Basically, a lot of people who like the original series probably might be getting on a bit, and I don't mean that as an insult, it's just facts are facts, right? And I'm one of those people who was born effectively for the prequel trilogy, if that makes sense. Not saying they were great films, if that was my era. And even that now, like, quite a while ago, let's face it. Wow, I feel like I'm just insulting everybody in this video, and I do not mean to. But my point is that the new series are obviously going to bring in audiences of the younger age that are watching it now, who are the first time experiencing it. And that might be good for Star Wars Legion as a whole. And the fact that there's new stuff to draw from is also good for Star Wars Legion. Now, there's a bigger, more problematic question here, which is, do Atomic Mass Games actually like Star Wars Legion? Now, I know that might seem like a little bit of a crazy question, but basically, it's not their baby, is it? Marvel Crisis Protocol is a game that they created, that's their thing, but all of the Star Wars games, they basically inherited them from Fantasy Flight Games. And the question is, do they even like them? We've seen the drastic change that they made with X-Wing, for example, which some of the community may or may not have liked, but boils down to Atomic Mass Games not believing that what the game had originally was what they wanted to be producing going forward. So they changed it. Is it possible that Star Wars Legion will have a similar fate, but via a different delivery method? Might it be that we actually get a new tabletop game, which I'm not going to say war game, but even though it technically probably will be a war game, that has sort of similar miniatures to Legion. Basically, are they going to create a Star Wars Legion Crisis Protocol kind of game, which is going to possibly have way less miniatures, but maybe more thematic and more like scaled fight, like Marvel Crisis Protocol? What I'm saying is, maybe it's going to be a smaller board, maybe the miniatures will be a little bit bigger, maybe it'll be just more like the characters, the heroes, if that kind of thing, rather than just like all the troops. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Quite frankly, I'm really confused at what else the games that they're talking about could be. They said when they took the Star Wars license that they've got ideas for games. I just can't think of anything. I literally am at a blank, basically. Sure, you could get like maybe even smaller scale miniatures, so it's a more epic battlefield, so you can actually have your ATSTs and your AT-ATs and stuff like that just casually on the board. That would be cool, but I don't think it would be all that popular. But maybe I'm wrong. And then I don't know where else you can go. I said Pod Racer at one point, which, you know, I would like it, but I just don't know if that's something they're going to go to. Yeah, really fascinating. Like the fact that they already had some ideas that they were just playing with at the creation, that when they actually took the license, is to me more interesting, because they already had stuff planned and I can't even envision what it's going to be. And the main worry for Star Wars Legion particularly is if they do effectively a Star Wars Legion Crisis Protocol, the similarity to Star Wars Legion will definitely cause problems in the community. I don't want to cause concern because we don't actually know what they're going to do, but let's face it, if they released a box that was like, you know, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han, etc. and it was like, this is your new starter box for this new game, everybody'd be like, they look very similar to the Star Wars Legion models, like why would I even bother buying your new game? So they're going to run into a bit of an issue with identity. How do they differentiate one game from the next? It's weird because X-Wing and Armada, in theory, sound like a similar game. They're both sort of spaceship games in the Star Wars universe. So it does sound like it's probably possible, but unless they're going to go like really small scale, I just don't see how they're not going to compete in any sort of meaningful way. But I mean, we don't know. We don't know. So the future of Star Wars Legion is what? We're just going to draw from all the media that they've yet to draw from, which is good because Disney are pumping out an absolute shed ton of media. Whether or not that will really draw too many new people into Star Wars Legion is a question, because that audience may be younger, I guess, maybe because it's sort of on Disney Plus. It's sort of tailored, I guess, to like new Star Wars fans rather than Star Wars fans who enjoyed, you know, the original trilogy. And then if they then make another game, really, how is that game going to differentiate itself from the games that we currently have? Will that cause problems in the community? Really open-ended question, but just something that's been on my mind at the moment. What we're getting in terms of news, yeah, everything that we see I like. I like the mercenary faction, the Shadow Collective, Din Djarin and Grogu, perfect. The droids, looking good, swoop bikes, all that kind of stuff. Everything that we're seeing, I think I really like. We're getting Ewoks, for Christ's sake, like that's going to be cool. So lots of good stuff out there, lots of good stuff to come, but the future sort of seems to have some key questions that are going to arise, and we don't know the answer to those. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.